Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first PTSA meeting of the year. We're so glad to have you here tonight. I am Brian Rabin, serving as your PTSA president. And just a little about me, I have a son who just graduated from Wooten last year. He's at University of Maryland College Park. And I have a daughter at Wooten who's a junior. And I have a daughter at Cabin John in 7th grade. And I've been serving as president of the PTSA. This is my 3rd year. And before that, I spent 4 years as the Wooten cluster coordinator. And I'm glad to be here. So we're going to go ahead and start with introductions tonight. And you can see our agenda here. And we're going to move through our agenda pretty quickly. And so, Nikki, let's go to the next slide. So I'd like to introduce Yul Peters, who's our first vice president. Yul, are you on?
I am.
On Zoom? Great, there's Yul. And we have Marie, who is running for our 2nd vice president, and we'll be holding that election shortly. Marie, are you there? All right, we'll circle back around. And of course, we have Nikki, who's our acting treasurer.
Hi, everybody.
You can see Nikki on the screen there. Our recording secretary is Mira. Mira, are you there?
I'm here. Hey, guys.
And there's Mira. And then running for the corresponding secretary position, we have Christine Burton. Christine, are you on Zoom?
I'm here.
There's Christine.
Can you see me? Is
Yeah,
my
sure
camera
can.
working?
Sure can. Thank you.
Okay,
And
all right.
and Marie. I know we did have Marie on the last on our pre-meeting. Okay, and if you want to learn more about the executive board, you can find that on the Wooten PTSA website at the link there, and we'll share the slides so everyone has those links. And let's move to the next slide. So as you can see here, the PTSA has a large board. We're so thankful to have such great volunteers because none of the work that we do for PTSA, we could do that without the great volunteers. So, so we're so pleased. So I'm going to run through our list for African American Parent Student Network Liaison. We have Nakem. Nakem, are you on?
Yes, I am. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Nakem. For our Asian Parent Student Network Liaison, we have Arthur. Arthur, are you on? Okay, moving on for our Community Outreach Liaison, we have Jennifer.
Oh.
Hi, Jennifer. And then Nikki as our, in addition to treasurer, acting treasurer, also membership and directory chair. And then for our NAACP representative, we actually have 2 co-representatives this year, but we have Nakem, who we just heard from. For our
Hello
Patriot,
again.
for our Patriot News chair, we have Bing Bing.
I'm here. Hi, everybody.
And for our social media coordinator, we have Jason. Okay, for our student engagement chair, we have Raul.
Hello, everyone.
For our staff appreciation, we have 2 co-chairs. We have Sarah and Stephanie. I know Sarah wasn't able to be on tonight. Stephanie, are you on? Okay, and for our volunteer coordinator, we have Julie. Julie, are you on this evening? And then Nikki again with one of the many hats, website coordinator position. so lucky to have Nikki. She wears a lot of hats in our PTSA. And then we have Wooton Cluster representatives. So the Wooton Cluster representatives, we have two. They serve on the Wooton Cluster Committee, and it's made up of all 9 of the Wooton Cluster schools. We have 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and of course Wooton. So we have 9 schools, and they sit on that council. And so we have Sab,
Hi, everyone.
and we have Gina.
Hi, everybody.
And then we have Montgomery County Council PTAs. We have 2 delegates that serve on the Delegates Assembly for the MCC PTA. And we have a non,
Hi, everyone.
and then we have George.
Hello, everyone.
And then we have usually 3 MCC PTA Wooton Cluster coordinators. Usually there's 3. That's the position that I mentioned I served in previously. Yin, I believe, is on tonight.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Yin. And then we have Samit, who doesn't usually attend this meeting, but he works with some of our other schools. And we do have an open position for the Wooton Cluster Coordinator position. It's an MCC PTA position, and they serve on the board of the MCC PTA. And that is our board. So, we're so appreciative of having a great board. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about some open positions that we have and hope that you may consider serving as well. So before we get to the vacancies, we want to go ahead and move into holding our vote. So I do want to let you know that we now are able to hold elections virtually. In the past, we were unable to do that. And so the way the process will work, and it's really simple, because we have only 1 candidate for each of these 2 positions. It will be by voice vote only. So first, the first position is the 2nd vice president position. And so I'm going to give Marie an opportunity to introduce herself and to tell us a little bit about herself before we hold the vote. So Marie, I'm going to turn it over to you. And Marie might have had trouble getting on. Let's see.
It looks like Maria's on.
Marie, you're on, I think you might be on mute. Marie, if you're speaking, we're unable to hear you.
Sorry, I
there we go.
just
Okay.
logged on. I apologize. Am I speaking?
Oh, yes.
for
So,
me? Okay.
so I introduced the voting for the 2nd vice president position, and just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself and to tell us a little bit about yourself. before we
Okay,
hold
thank
the vote.
you. Thanks, Brian. Hi, my name is Marie Ginlad. I've got a 10th grader, Gretchen Gilmore. She is at obviously Wooton. I am a current PTSA paying member. I was a Girl Scout assistant troop leader. I taught fashion merchandising at UDCC. I was a substitute teacher for 6th through 12th grade. Served on a year city council task force designing housing for traumatized veterans that were homeless. I've been a social worker for mentally and physically handicapped, and currently I've got a degree in design, and currently I'm an interior designer and a member of National Kitchen and Bath Design for the next 2 weeks until I retire. Is that?
All right, that's perfect. Thank you very much. So we're going to go ahead and hold the vote. So the position is the 2nd vice president position that Maria is running for. For all those that are in favor of electing Marie for this position, say aye.
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 Sorry.
Aye.
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 And for all those, And for all those opposed, please say no. Say nay.
I apologize. I didn't realize my camera was off.
Oh, that's okay. Well, now we can see you now. So, all right, the ayes have it. So Marie, you have now been elected to the position of second
Yay.
vice president. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you to the general body. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the second position, and that is the corresponding secretary position. That position manages all communications for the PTSA and working with our social media website coordinator, website coordinator, and newsletter chair. Running for the position is Christine Burton, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Christine to introduce herself and to share any information she would like with the general body.
Good evening, everyone. I am the proud mom of an 11th grader, Julian. I have a lot of PTA volunteer experience in my pocket. I had 4 boys and 2 girls. Previously, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so we relocated to Maryland when Julian was 3. So I've been a high school PTO president, middle school and elementary school, as well as secretary, volunteer coordinator, whatever position was needed, I have filled it over the course of the last 17 years. So I am happy to be back. I think I took off like maybe 2 years, Julian's first freshman and sophomore year, to just breathe over the volunteer aspect. Professionally, I am an operations manager slash HR. So I really do bring a little bit of organization and creativity and ideas in my pockets that can help us expand and even rise higher. So thank you for having me. That's it.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you. Sorry, it took me a second to get off mute. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and vote, hold the vote for the corresponding secretary, and Christine is running for that position. So all in favor of electing Christine to this position, please say aye.
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 And all those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. So congratulations, Christine. You've now been elected as the corresponding secretary for Wootton PTSA. All right, and thank you both for serving, and thank you all for voting and making that so smooth. So we'd like you to make sure that you're saving the date for some really exciting upcoming events. First of all, we're very excited to partner with Wootton and to hold the Wootton College Fair. We were able to have one back in 2019 prior to COVID. It was great. It was our first one. We worked on it a little later into the season, and it turned out great. We had a lot of people. This time we've had a little bit longer to work on it, and we're thrilled to have it. There should be somewhere in the range of about 40 schools represented. There's going to be some college service vendors there, and it's just going to be a great event. So it's such a great opportunity for our juniors and seniors to be able to meet with college admissions folks right in person. And it's going to be outside. So it's safely outside. It's going to be in the front driveway. But, there hasn't been a great opportunity in the past couple of years to actually meet in person with admissions folks. So this is a great opportunity. We probably will have some of our 9th and 10th grade parents that are interested in maybe coming by to learn a little bit about the colleges and just to kind of learn about different colleges. So it's all going to be throughout the front driveway. And there will be a couple food trucks here too. So it is during dinner time. So if you want to grab dinner, you'll be able to. But please mark your calendar for that. I'm really hoping for good weather because it's happening rain or shine. I think that the colleges will be bringing their canopies, and please, if there's rain in the forecast, bring your umbrella. I did look today, and it looked like the chances of rain are moving up a little bit. So hopefully that won't happen, but the weather should be decent, and we look forward to seeing you there. So the next event that we have listed down on here, it's happening on October 9th, and we're calling it the Wooten Cluster Fall Festival. And this is really a first of its kind. We're working to put together an event with all 9 of our schools, our 6 elementary schools, our 2 middle schools in Wooten. It'll be outside in the Wooten parking lot. We still we'll get back to you as to the exact location. It'll be between 2 and 6 p.m. And we have a planning committee that we're working on with all the different schools. And we're working on figuring out, we spread out the time so that we didn't have a lot of people gathering in one place throughout the whole time. And we are going to have various activities across the 4 hours so that, folks can come out. One of the biggest challenges for PTAs and PTSAs over this last year and a half is getting new membership. Because, not having in-person events makes it really difficult. Normally, right before events, in-person events, you are able to have your table set up and get lots of members, lots of new members, but it's been very difficult, especially for our elementary schools. So this is really going to be a good opportunity for them to be able to share information about their memberships, but also to have an opportunity to get folks together from our Wooten community. And we know many parents belong or are part of multiple school communities. So it should be a fun event for everyone. And then we do want you to mark your calendar for the next PTSA meeting. It'll take place on Tuesday, October 19th at 7 p.m. It happens the 3rd Tuesday of every month. And we do have a special speaker or speakers at every meeting. So the special topic for the meeting in October will be a public health panel. And we are working on finding panelists to participate in that. So it'll be an opportunity to ask all your public health questions, and they'll have the latest information around COVID and Delta boosters and all the questions that we have, quarantining and testing and all those types of things. So, please come to that. One thing that we do have coming up this week on Friday is our virtual coffee chat with Ms. Bolden. So I hope you can join us at 9 a.m. On Friday, and you'll get more information about that as well, as along with the Zoom link. So we can move to the next slide. For PTSA vacancies, we don't have a lot. We've been able to get the number down. So thank you to all those that volunteered, and for those that may be thinking about volunteering, these are the opportunities. We really need a Latino Parent Student Network liaison, a really critical position, and we really want to find a chair for that. We also desperately need a fundraising chair. We have committee members. We have folks that have committed to being on the committee, and we need committee members as well. So if you're not interested in being the lead, feel free to volunteer to be a committee member, because we need committee members as well. But the fundraising committee will be planning some really fun events, and we'll continue to raise money for the gym floor, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then we also have our student engagement committee. So we have a chair for the student engagement committee, which is really exciting, but we need committee members. So anybody who's interested in doing student engagement, we could use you on our committee. Raul, who's on, is our student engagement chair, and he would be pleased to be working with you. So please let me know if you are interested in volunteering, and I'll get you set up with the right folks. And then number 5 here is the MCC PTA Wooten Cluster Coordinator. I mentioned that earlier. We have 2 Wooten Cluster Coordinators. It actually is a very big job. They oversee all the PTAs at the 9 schools. They work with all the PTAs. They're advocates for our cluster, and really work. They've worked a lot with me on the Wooten renovation, which is something that I've been focused on for many years, and we'll continue to work on that. And we depend on them, and they do testimony and before the Board of Education and the Montgomery County Council. If you're really interested in the latest public education topics and want to testify, for our cluster, this would be the position for you. And then last, we have our parliamentarian. It's a position we've had open for a while, but that helps us with the proper procedures for our meetings. Next slide. And I'm going to turn it over to
Okay.
Nikki to cover this slide.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so this I kind of put in here. I got a request today actually from Marie Vincenti, who is our attendance secretary. Apparently there's been a lot of confusion over what to do when your child is going to be late, is absent, or needs to leave early. So she requested that I transmit this information because there's been a lot of confusion. So I'd like to start by saying, like, if you don't know already, there is an absence note that you can get right from the Wooten website. So if you're on the school's homepage, if you go here to attendance and you scroll down, you can find the absence note here. So it's that simple. As you can see, it's for absence, being tardy, leaving early. In particular, I know that Marie said that there has been an issue with students who are leaving early and knowing what to do. And so in the event that your child is going to leave early, make sure that there is a signed note and your child brings it to the attendance office first thing in the morning. They are able to get a pass in order to go to the attendance office at the time that they need to leave. And then they sign out at the attendance office and then they can meet you outside. So it's really easy if you do it this way. If you forget to send a note or have a last minute appointment that comes up, she's asked that you call the main office so that they can take a note to your child. But you know, if you send her an email late in the day or right before, she may not have time to get to it. So better to take care of it ahead of time. So if you have any questions, you can email Marie and ask her those. So as Brian mentioned earlier, this Friday at the Wooten football game. Oh,
I
yep.
actually wanted to make a comment on the absent and tardy notes.
Okay.
Last week I went to pick up my son, and on the parent portal that got moved from the previous last year to the new portal, my name did not get transferred for my child. It was just my wife, but my name was mixed up with my mother-in-law as an authorized person to pick up. So they would not let release my son to me. I'm the father. So I had to work with the registrar's office and get that sorted out. So if anybody has, their son into the new parent view portal, I think it's, or whichever, just make sure your information is correct and that you're the authorized person to pick up your child.
Thank you. Okay. So did anyone else have questions on attendance?
Hey,
Yeah,
Nikki,
Nikki.
it's Mira. I was just going to say, I think generally speaking, the schools are not going to be sending paper forms to update that information. So I think everybody needs to update and accept the updated information regarding contact and emergency pickup and all of that on Parent View,
Yes.
just in case if they weren't aware.
Nikki, this is Brad Roner again. Hello, everybody. I'm one of the, I'm a principal intern here at Wooten High School. I just wanted to chime in and thank that parent for bringing that to our attention. When we transferred to Synergy, some parents, for whatever reason, coming in, got changed a little bit. So have been working on that to correct that. And if you let us know, if you see any issues, please let the administrator know, the counselor, anyone at the school, and we can update that so that you don't run into that problem coming to the school. And so I just wanted to thank him for mentioning that.
Okay. Any other attendance questions? We good? Okay. Obviously, you can also put questions in the chat and we can answer them that way too, if you don't want to speak up. Okay, so Brian mentioned earlier about the football game on Friday, I think. No, he mentioned about the coffee chat. So I'm going to tell you for the first time, if you are planning to go to the Wooten Churchill football game this Friday, the PTSA is going to have a table there, so you can pick up your magnets. If you're not picked up your magnet yet, we will have them there and you can purchase your membership at that time as well. But also patrons of the arts wanted me to remind you that they are having an arts tailgate this Friday at the game. So get there a little bit early so that you can see that. You should have seen this already in our newsletter. This little flyer over here was in there. So you can see performances by the jazz band, chorus, and theater. And there'll be lots of things going on. So that's from 5 to 6:30, and then the game kicks off at 7. Contact information's here on the screen. If you need that information, if you don't have time to write it down now, just put something in the chat and we will get it in there for you. So that's this Friday. So moving on to the membership update. So as Brian mentioned earlier, I am the membership and directory chair. This is now my 5th year doing that. And so this is a little bit of a screenshot of where our membership is this year and for the last 2 years. As you can see, FY 19-20, we were over 1,000. And so we were a little bit down last year overall, probably in part due to COVID. You know, a bit of a shortened year for us, but we're doing really well this year and we are almost matching what we were at overall for last year. But I will note that to meet our budget, like the budget that we have proposed and that we would like to fulfill this year, we need a minimum of 730 parent memberships. And that's really our main source of funding is our parent memberships. That is where we raise most of our money each year. So if you haven't had a chance to purchase a membership yet, please consider doing that. So next I wanted to talk about A to Z Connect. There's been a lot of questions, a lot of confusion about the new platform this year. So I've been trying to make it simpler, but definitely if you are having any trouble at all accessing the site, we have YouTube tutorials that you can go to and watch now that I put together. They are only a couple minutes long, but they tell you exactly where to click to make things work. The new website, though, is this WoottonPTSA.membershiptoolkit.com. So if you had bookmarked the old A to Z Connect website, you can go ahead and delete that out. That site doesn't work anymore. So if you are trying to purchase a membership and it tells you we are not connected to a merchant or anything like that, that means you are on the old site, and that's why it's not working. So through this new site, that's how you're going to access the online directory now. It's where you're going to update your directory information and your publishing preferences. So if you do not want any of your information in the directory, you can mark that there. But you could have also marked that back when you did your parent view. When you update your information, you were also given that option at that time to be opted out of the directory. But in case you forgot to do that there, you can always do that in our system as well. And you can opt out completely or you can opt out in part. So maybe you want your name in there or your child's name, but you don't want your phone number, you don't want your email, that kind of thing. So that's where you can do that. You can also purchase your memberships right through the platform. And if you are interested in purchasing a mock SAT or ACT test, that now is also through that platform. And you can also make a donation through A to Z Connect. As I've listed here on the screen, a parent membership is $25, 2 parents are $50, and each student is $6. So I'm going to pull this up really quick in case you haven't seen it, because some people haven't seen our YouTube channel. But this is new this year. I've moved everything over to this channel. Last year, we just had recordings on our website. So if you're here and you go to there are different playlists. So you can see there are tutorials. That's where those are all housed. We have our coffee chats from last year, our college related events, our alumni event, and then all of our general membership meetings. So those are all there for you. So magnets this year, as I mentioned earlier, we have magnets. I'll show it again. We have our they're 5x5, a square magnet for your car. And those are going to be free with every parent membership purchased. We are not selling them by themselves, but you can get one with a parent membership and with a faculty membership. And I also wanted to note that our t-shirt giveaway is ending tonight. So if you purchase your membership anytime until tonight, you will be entered to win one of free 10 Wooton t-shirts. And these t-shirts are from our Squad Locker store. This is a picture, an example of what it might look like. though there are multiple colors and multiple logos you can have. And so the winners will get to customize their t-shirt and pick their color and pick their logo. And I will reach out to those winners tomorrow, and they'll be announced on our website in the morning. So like I said earlier, there's still time to join. You can go to our website. It's really easy, woottonptsa.org/membership, and you can see all of your different online purchase options there. Or you can send me an email directly and just tell me what you want to purchase, and I can send you a Square invoice that'll let you pay by credit card, Google Pay, or Apple Pay. Okay, so now on to the treasurer's update. So right before this meeting tonight, we had a members only meeting and we voted in our budget for the year. So you can see our projected budget for this year and the last 2 years. I'll note that last year, the reason the receipts were higher is because we had our holiday program, which we ran through the PTSA. This year, we're going to be working that a little bit different, so I didn't project that we would have that additional revenue, but that also means we don't have that expense as well. So there's that. If you're a member and you missed the budget vote tonight and you want to have, you should have received an email earlier that had a copy of that budget in it. But if you have any questions about it, you can feel free to give me an email and I will explain anything you have a question about. Brian mentioned this earlier. The reason we are looking for a fundraising chair for our fundraising committee is we are trying to raise money for this interlocking tile floor for our gymnasium. Currently, there is a tarp that we use during events in there, such as homecoming. The tarp is really old and not necessarily that safe to dance on, especially. So we are looking to purchase this floor. We've estimated that it will cost about $20,000 based on the square footage of the gym floor, which is essentially the entire basketball playing area. So you can see we haven't raised that much yet. So that's why we're really looking for a fundraising chair so that we can hold additional events above and beyond what we normally hold in order to raise those funds. Right now, the ways that you can support us for fundraising for that is to go to Amazon Smile. You can name us your charity of choice. When you make purchases through Squad Locker, we get 10% of all of those sales. Hopefully, once we have our fundraising chair, we're going to start having fun restaurant nights again. We obviously weren't able to have restaurant nights last year because of COVID. And you can always make a direct donation. And we do have a fundraising page on our website that always reflects our current goal and how much money we have raised. So I mentioned mock testing earlier. So this year we have, we're still partnering with the same 3 companies from last year. We've got Potomac Oak Tutoring, Everest Tutors and Test Prep, and Potomac Education Center. So it is $20 for 1 test. And sorry, that's a typo on my part. It should be $30 for 2 tests. And so how that works is that's essentially those test companies making a donation to us so that we are getting paid that instead of them. So they are giving you a free mock test for your donation to the PTSA. So you can take an ACT or SAT through any of the 3 companies, and Potomac Oak also offers a PSAT option. And all 3 have slightly different timings. So whatever works for you, like Potomac Oak, I believe does, I know every Sunday they do in person. They also do, you can do a self-proctored exam at home. Everest will let you pick your date and time and they'll work with you on that. And then Potomac Education Center has specific dates, which when you go to purchase it will show up and you can select those. And like I said before, you purchase those through A to Z Connect, and there is a YouTube tutorial that shows you exactly how to make that purchase. Okay, so grants. Earlier I mentioned that our student memberships are $6 each. One of the benefits for student members is that they are eligible to apply for a PTSA grant. So our grants are for staff as well as students. A lot of times, though, when staff apply for grants, they are often on behalf of students if they are perhaps in charge of a club or organization that is doing some sort of event. For example, in the past, you know, we funded for students to go to conferences and things like that. If you go to our website, we have a whole page on grants and it lists the grants we've given out in the last year, and it lists a bunch of frequently asked questions as well as links for the grant application. So I just wanted to mention here some communications, which is, hold on just a second. So obviously we have our website, as I mentioned before, and we have our YouTube channel where all of our recordings will go.
Did you eat dinner?
And we have, so sorry about that. So we have our tutorials, we have our meeting recordings, and we have social media. So we have our Facebook account. We recently started a Twitter account, and we should have an Instagram account soon. We are also sending out our weekly newsletter. And as Brian mentioned earlier, we have our monthly coffee chats with Ms. Bolden. Those are generally going to be the Friday morning after this meeting. And so how that generally works is tomorrow morning, you should get an email asking if you have any questions for Ms. Bolden. So we'll take questions ahead of time. And then that meeting is always recorded so that if you aren't able to join us Friday at 9 a.m., you can always watch the recording later. And so if you had a question, you'll be able to see it get answered, even if you weren't able to attend. So to kind of recap all of this information tonight, ways that you can help, right? You can, first and foremost, you can always volunteer your time with the PTSA. We really appreciate all of our volunteers, and we could not do this without volunteers. You can purchase a membership, and I've gotten this question before, what does that mean I have to do? Absolutely nothing. You can purchase a membership and no volunteer time is required at all. You can make a donation. And as I mentioned earlier, you can name us your charity of choice on Amazon Smile. You can purchase custom spiritware through Squad Locker. You can purchase a mock test through one of our test prep partners. I didn't mention this earlier, but you can also purchase ad space in our print directory. That helps to offset our printing costs, which we otherwise will have to pay for. Or you can attend a restaurant night when we have those. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jen Eisenfeld. She's our community outreach liaison, and she is going to talk about our community outreach program and our Holiday Helping Hands program, which I helped her with last year. Jen, are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, there we are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jen Eisenfeld. We were very excited last year. We launched the Wootton Community Outreach Program. And what that was is it helps Wootton cluster families who are in emergency need with essential items, where there's no other community resources that are available. And they work with their school PPWs, which is a pupil personnel worker, as well as the guidance counselors for all the cluster schools. And then we supply essential items such as shoes or clothing, food, things that they need immediately. And we had a lot of success with it last year and helped out a lot of families. So we are continuing. We're excited to do the program again this year. I'm in the midst of getting everything to the pupil personnel workers and all the principals and guidance counselors in the cluster. The difference in the program this year is that we recently learned that through the MCC PTA treasurer that we're unable to pay for the items directly from the PTSA funds, which we had done last year. Since it's so important for these families to receive these essential items quickly, our goal this year is to have parent volunteers who are willing to purchase and shop for the items, and then they'll be able to give those items to me and I'll be able to get them to the family. So you're going to be getting some information on that. If you would like to volunteer, that would be wonderful. And then I'll contact you if we have a family who needs some essential items. The other very successful program that we had, Nikki and I ran last year, was the Holiday Helping Hands program. And we provided food gift cards and holiday gifts, clothing, toys for families in need in our Wootton cluster. And it was a very successful program. We actually helped out 66 children. So Nikki and I were very busy last year during the holidays. And so this year we're going to send some information out if you'd like to volunteer to help out with shopping and getting all those items together, wrapping the gifts. That would be wonderful. I will send information out that you can access on the website. Is that right, Nikki? The website?
Yeah, and so to Jen's point, kind of the way we're going to work the holiday program this year is, so last year, Jen and I we raised all this money because we were doing this in a very short amount of time, and we did all of the shopping. And as Jen alluded to, MCC PTA treasurer has said that we really shouldn't be doing it that way. So we're restructuring it a bit and hoping that we can get more people to do the shopping for us this year. So what we're going to do is we're going to essentially create a store within the A to Z Connect website through the platform, just like you purchase your membership. And so for instance, it might say like 6-year-old boy, and he wants all of these things. And we estimate that it will cost this much money. And so we're going to let you kind of choose your shopping experience rather than adopting a family, which we found last year could be a bit overwhelming. We will have people adopting just a single child. And so there will be more information coming out about that. But we're getting a head start this year since we kind of understand the immense amount of work. And so we'll be sending that out. But also to back up for a minute, when Jen was talking about helping the cluster families just in general with regular needs, what we're going to be doing is sending out a communication saying, do you want to be on our communication list? Essentially, like, do you want to be a person that when we have a family in need, we will reach out to a small subset of people rather than sending an email to everyone on our mailing list. And so if that's something you're interested in, you can respond to that email. And then when we do have a need, we will be sending that out, because generally when we have those needs, though they are emergency needs, like somebody needs a pair of shoes, or, you know, for whatever reason, I think, you know, maybe there's been a house fire, who knows, right? Like there's lots of different things that occur within our cluster. And so, and then Jen will help facilitate getting that item to the school counselor, PPW, so that it can get to the family. So be on the lookout for emails from both of us about those things.
Thank you. Very well said. And for example, like today I went out and bought a little boy a pair of shoes who was involved in the flood that we had not that long ago, and it was displaced and needed a pair of shoes. So I went and bought him a pair of shoes. So, so it's a great opportunity to help out our community, our Wootton community. So thank you, and look out for some information on that.
Yeah. Okay, so Brian, we'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. And thank you for those updates. So I already mentioned, mark your calendar for the 19th. And we appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Spolden and team.
Thank you, Mr. Rabin. Good evening, everyone. It's so great to see you or your names on the screen this evening. And just I want to begin, as always, with a tremendous shout out and thank you to our fantastic PTSA. As you can hear from all of the updates, there's so much that happens within Wootton's PTSA and within the cluster, and so many good things on behalf of our students and staff and community and parents. And I'm so very grateful for this partnership. And so we are really just wanting to welcome you all back. We've had our back to school night. We've had, you know, some of our firsts for the school year, from the students coming back into the building after being away for some time and in virtual space, to, you know, our first games and all of our extracurriculars and classes, of course. And it's a challenge at times. times. We're learning a lot about our school community and our response to the pandemic that's still ongoing. But I have to say, our joy each and every day is watching your children walk through our building and be in their classes and all of the great and amazing things that they're doing to contribute to our school and learning and really setting up a situation where they're safe and they're thriving, and we are doing our very best to ensure that that's happening. I first want to just say again, to the PTSA, thank you for everything that you're doing. And also, just to kind of give you an overview of this year, we wanted to also spend some time telling you a little bit about what's happening in our school, opening up lines of communication. Of course, we want to make sure that we are in partnership with you as well, and making sure that we get all of the information that you need so that we have this a great foundation for our students, and we're working together on their behalf. And so with that, we are very excited to be here, and the we is the administrative team and some of our counseling team. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our administrators and our counselors who are here this evening, and also introduce them. And I want to begin with Nicole Walker, our 9th grade administrator. Nicole, say hello.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Yay, Nicole's still in our building. Nicole this is her first year with us, and we're so delighted she's with us. If she looks familiar to you, that's because she may be. If you had a child at Cap and John in the past few years, we were so fortunate to have her come here. She's most recently coming to us from Kingsview Middle School, where she served as a principal intern, and she's just been really a great contributor to our school, and brings a lot of great ideas and a great love for our children. So I'm so excited to welcome Nicole to our administrative team. I will start, but I also say that we like to keep all of our children with their grade level administrator and their counselor all 4 years. And so it will be that Ms. Walker, in theory, should be with our students until they graduate in 4 years. In addition to Nicole, we have Mr. Brad Roner. Mr. Roner, say hello.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Mr. Roner is in his 2nd year at Wootton High School, and he is a principal intern this year. And actually, I will be turning the meeting over to him in just a few minutes. And Mr. Roner has also just been a great part of our administrative team. And he has worked really diligently over the past couple of year and a half or so to get to know Wootton and make great contributions to our team. And in addition to Mr. Roner, we have Mr. Nick Hitchens, our 11th grade administrator. Mr. Hitchens.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you're here, Mr. Hitchens. Mr. Hitchens has been here for a very long time. Mr. Hitchens is a Wootton alum. He taught at Wootton and recently served as English resource teacher. And again, very grateful for him stepping up in the administrative position. He served as an acting AP last year and came officially on board as our administrator. He worked with our now 11th graders last year, and he's continuing as the 11th grade administrator. And rounding out our team is Mr. Joseph McManus. Mr. McManus, say hello.
Hello. It's been great working with a lot of parents I see on here for the last 3 years, and year 4, senior year.
That's right. And I think Mr. McManus is as excited about the seniors as probably our senior parents are. We get to really get excited about them moving through their transition from 9th to 12th graders and working with them all 4 years. And so Mr. McManus is very excited to be the 12th grade administrator to see our students across the finish line. So thank you, Mr. McManus. And on our counseling side, we have 2 counselors with us tonight. We have our fantastic resource counselor, and that means she's in charge of the counseling department, and her name is Ariel Markowitz. Ariel?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Great to see you all.
And Ms. Markowitz does a phenomenal job being in charge of the counseling department and making sure that there are individual and collective counseling services for all of our children and coordinating those services across all of our counselors and making sure that we have a really phenomenal approach for our social, emotional, and academic needs of our students. And last but not least, I have to introduce Ms. Jennifer Wong Utter. Jen, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So nice to see everyone.
Yay, Jen is a counselor in Wootton and so excited she's back with us. If she looks familiar, that's because she is. She was with us a few years ago and she came back to Wootton this year. We're so delighted that she's back with us working with our children. And so that's who's on the call tonight. And we prepared a short presentation, but I love all of the questions that you've been asking and making sure that we have some clarity around attendance policies and other pieces that are, your children have come home at this point and perhaps telling you about this and that. And so as we go through our presentation, please continue to put your questions in the chat and we'll take care of those as we move through. We have an overview presentation, as I've said, and then after that, we'll entertain questions and also get them as we go. I just want to start though by saying that this year has, like I said, has really helped us to understand how we're serving our children and making sure that they're safe. That's always paramount in order to having an environment where our children are able to learn and to thrive and to flourish in what they're doing. And so, of course, with COVID, we're continuing with our measures to ensure that our students are safe. We're continuing to monitor, what is happening in our school environment and our school community and using those best practices to ensure their safety. And I know that you're getting lots of notifications around students who are individuals in the school that have tested positive, and we're doing our contact tracing. And so please know that that is an ongoing effort. We are doing it with our due diligence and ensuring that our students and you are aware of what's happening in the school. And as we continue to move forward, we'll continue to update you and continue to make any kinds of changes we need to make sure that we're doing our very best to ensure that our protocols are meeting the needs of our students and our staff and our entire community. With that being said, we also wanted to return to normalcy. And as you can tell, as normal as can be, with some restrictions. So as you can tell by all of the activities that are planned, and then what we'll be highlighting tonight in terms of what else you can anticipate over the next month and a half, we're continuing to move forward to give our children a whole school experience as best as we can. And that's not without challenges, but we've become adept in terms of how we meet those challenges and making sure that we are keeping in mind the well-being of our children as we move forward. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Rohner, and he is going to begin our presentation with a few updates regarding COVID, and then we'll move in from there. Mr. Rohner?
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a beautiful segue on into our first slide that we wanted to share with you is our mission statement. We spent a lot of time as an ILT, that is our leadership team of the school, talking about revising our mission statement for the upcoming year with the idea that it's a changing world right now. Everything that's been happening. So we wanted to make sure we've been starting a lot of our meetings out with advertising and sharing our mission statements to the parents and to the community, our students. And our mission is to foster an inclusive community of compassionate, lifelong learners who will contribute conscientiously to a changing world. And we spent a lot of time diving in and putting meaning behind every single one of those words as we talked about this over the summer. This mission statement actually was 3 separate meetings with our leadership team to dig deep and figure out, what words were important to us as we move forward with this upcoming school year, with all the things that have happened so far. So we wanted to start the meeting just to kind of go over that mission statement. And for those who had back to school night, you probably saw this as well. So we wanted to make sure we communicated that. Next thing we wanted to talk about is what Ms. Bolden said, and COVID is here. It is happening. We are spending a lot of time making sure we're doing that due diligence with contacting parents who are close contacts. We are ensuring that students are using their face coverings properly throughout the day. We followed up anytime we have a concern from a parent or a student or staff member, we're following up on that. We're still cleaning high touch areas. We are still utilizing our triage isolation room. Those are for students who may be showing symptoms from the classroom, so they come down into a separate location. And we can't emphasize this enough to wash hands and there's hand sanitizer throughout the building for students and for staff and for community members that come in. Again, MCPS, they've been sending updates regularly about some of the changes that have been made. They are making attempts to keep students that have to be quarantined in the building as best as possible. There's been a lot of information out there about the rapid tests. Right now, those rapid tests are for individuals that are showing symptoms and that the nurse will administer that rapid test. So it's not open to everybody that wants a test at this point. It's just for those that could be showing us symptoms and that the parents approve of using a rapid test. So right now, as Ms. Bolden said, you are getting some communications when we do have a positive case, and we are contacting all those individuals who are close contacts. And typically those close contacts are students that are sitting around each other or individuals that are sitting around the person that has a positive case. So once again, we will continue to communicate any of those changes from MCPS and post them as well on our website as you have questions about that. The next thing we wanted to talk about, we wanted to give an idea about our lunch processes. We've talked about lunches a little bit. I saw there was a couple of questions just about lunch in general, about some of our lines. Yes, in the beginning, that first week of school, the lines were long as we kind of get used to, coming in and getting lunch. And yes, lunch is free. That is something that the county started when we came back in person last year in March, and they've continued this year. And so all students are eligible to get that free lunch. The lunch that is served is a typical lunch that is served throughout the entire county at all the high schools. And again, it is free. A lot of students I'm seeing, they get a free lunch, but they also bring their own stuff. So they're kind of having both. We wanted to remind parents in the community that we are a closed campus. Students cannot go home for lunch. They cannot order food. We have been turning away some of the orders that students are making and having them delivered to the school. And our lunch period is just one lunch. It's 11:27 to 12:06. And, our lunch, I think students are getting used to it because we can kind of see what's happening. Students are finding their location and they're kind of hanging out there. That's the same students in the same areas. And the kids are just spread out everywhere in our building. They are in the main gym. Some of them are playing basketball. They're sitting in the bleachers. Some in our common area. They're sitting in the hallways, in the cafeteria. There's probably a good 800, I would say, students out on the stadium, either in the bleachers. They're in the bleachers on the home side, the way side. They are in the shaded areas. They're in the actual field, and they're doing some activities. So students are just everywhere. They're in the auditorium and in those hallways as well. So we just wanted to kind of go over that just to make sure we've touched base about just the lunch procedures. The next thing we wanted to talk about a little bit as we move forward is there's been a lot of questions about Parent View, not only with Synergy, with Canvas. We've troubleshoot some issues that are happening. You can always contact the school and the school's number, or you can also email your administrator or counselor. We're always there to guide you. In some cases, we got to call you because it's something we just have to walk you through to troubleshoot the idea. But again, these information about how to access, or if you're troubleshooting, pretty much all goes to the local school. So that would be us. So please, if you're having any concerns or not getting emails or things that are not set up, you're hearing from others, please let us know so that we can communicate that and help troubleshoot those ideas or concerns about parent view. And then the next slide, I think we're going to switch up gears a little bit, and I'm going to have the counselors kind of talk about their breakdown and kind of some of the counseling department update at this point. So I'll hand it over to Ms. Markowitz and Ms. Jen Wang-Utter.
Thank you, Mr. Roner. So good evening, everybody, again. As you can see posted on the Google Slides is a list of all of the 8 counselors, including myself, and the alpha breakdown based off of your child's first letter of their last name. And so you can see here, it's also posted on our Wooten website, and we have within the Wooten website, the counseling department website. So it's lots of different places for you. And you can see the breakdown here should you ever need to get in contact with any of us. And you're welcome to, of course, now you know me, you're always welcome to reach out to me, and I will point you in the right direction for your child's particular counselor. So next slide, Ms. Walker. Thanks. So as I mentioned, we do have a counseling website. I can have Ms. Wang-Utter put it in the chat for you all if you would like to access it. We update it very regularly with everything that we're doing with resources. It's a really great site for students and parents to access. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit about how your child can see us during the school day. So we are available with open hours before school, during homeroom, lunch, or after school. And sometimes we do have meetings that will not allow us to be there. So we have little notes that your children can leave in our little boxes outside our rooms. And then we will call them down with a pass from one of their classes. They can also email us. You can also email us that they would like to see us. And we schedule a time for them to come down to our offices. And of course, if your child's in crisis, they are always welcome to come, and we will support them in the proper space for them. We also meet regularly with all grade levels throughout the school year. We do what we call guidance lessons for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. We most recently met with our seniors. It was so exciting to see their faces and have conversations with them. And then we are meeting next with our 9th graders. We don't know our 9th graders. I think we can hear you if you want to mute yourself. I'm sorry, I don't know if I have the power to do that. So we are meeting next with our 9th graders. We're really excited to get to know them, and we will meet them in October. And then we will meet with our, 10th graders in November and our 11th graders in December. And then we meet with everybody once again. We meet with them a lot, obviously, but we're there for them individually as well. As Brian Rabin said, September 29th coming up is our fall college fair. So please come on out and join us for that lovely event. We're excited for that. And then I just wanted to share like some of the things that we are required and that we do with your children that are really important to their growth in high school. And one of those is making sure they graduate from high school. And so I've linked in those graduation requirements, and I'm sure Ms. Wang-Utter will be happy to put that link in there too. And so one of our jobs is to monitor that your child is taking all required classes to graduate from MCPS. And so we do meet with them regularly when picking courses for the following school year to make sure that they're where they need to be to graduate. So we've done this a lot with our seniors. And then one other thing we really encourage our students to do is to get involved. We help them and support them with their social development. And so we want them to make friends, figure out who they are as a person. And one way they can do that is by joining a club that where they join a club of interest to them, and they find friends or peers that have that same interest. So this is a really great way for children to meet others that have similar interests, and just sort of get to know who they are as a person throughout high school. And so we had a fabulous club expo last week. And if your child, wasn't comfortable going or attending or forgot to go, there is a list of clubs. And again, Ms. Wong-Utter, if you can put that in the chat, it's directly off the Wooten website as well. But please encourage your children to reach out to the club sponsors, and they're listed in this link, and get them involved. It's a really great opportunity for students to have that social engagement with one another. And then lastly, we are here for your children, social, emotionally. It's been a really tough couple of years, honestly, and we know that. So I've been telling a lot of my students to don't forget to wear your mask. That's a big one, but keep a routine. I think we kind of fell out of routine last year. It was easy to sleep in and go to bed late. And so I've been really reminding a lot of my students to keep a routine. Use a planner, whether it's an electronic one or a physical one, but trying to stay organized with all of the classes that they have. It was a different schedule last year. And so just trying to get back into this routine and using a planner to stay organized. And then, of course, taking care of yourselves. That is the most important. And every child is really different for what they need to do for themselves, but we're encouraging them to paint, to draw, to write, to read, listen to music, play music, run, exercise, whatever it is, meditate that works for your child. And so, of course, we encourage them to focus on that and taking care of themselves. And we're here for you. So if you ever have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. So that's a little bit about counseling. And then I'm going to pass it, I think, to Ms. Walker next.
Yeah, I think we're just going to quickly, we want to give parents just an update of every grade level. So every administrator is going to kind of just talk about what's happening in their grade and upcoming events. So this time, yes, Ms. Walker, do you want to let us know what's going on with the 9th graders?
Good evening, everyone. Mrs. Walker, and the 9th grade administrator. And 9th grade is starting to pick up in terms of activity. So I have a couple things that are taking place for 9th grade. Currently, we are in the midst of elections for our class of 2025 class officers. So they will have elections in their advisory class tomorrow. So we are excited to see who our class officers will be for their freshman class. So stay tuned for that information. Also, we have homecoming events coming up in the near future to just kind of get the 9th graders excited about high school and homecoming and Spirit Week. And I know Ms. Markowitz mentioned counselors getting to know students. So the freshman class will have an opportunity to talk and interact with their counselor during advisory sometime in October, which will be coming up soon. Just to give you an update on some assessments and testing, as you know, MSDE delayed testing for students last year in the spring. So our current 9th graders will be taking MCAP assessments the first week of October. You'll be receiving information in our weekly message out to families, and it'll also be posted on the website here very soon. But I just wanted to give families an update that it is coming soon for our students. This will not be like this every year. This is just a unique situation due to us from last year moving into this year. So I wanted to bring everyone aware of that. That is the brief snapshot of 9th grade events for this week. And hopefully I look forward to seeing and meeting you and interacting with you at some point this year. And I'm going to push the mute button and move it over to Mr. Rona for 10th grade.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Thank you. Yes, for 10th grade, our 2 grade level sponsors are Ms. Houndshell and Ms. Benstock. She is one of our new counselors, and so they're a great team already. They're diving into it. We already have a fundraiser at Chipotle on September 25th. So we're excited about that. And then shortly we put in the request for our t-shirt design. So we're hoping to get those orders out shortly. We're hoping to have all the shirts for homecoming week, as that's coming up in mid-October. So those are just some of the things that are happening with the 10th grade. So we're kind of getting into it as we're on the 4th week, and we're starting to dive in and starting to do our fundraiser, get us ready for our senior year, which won't be too far away, and it's coming fast. At this point, I will turn it over to Mr. Hitchens, the 11th grade administrator, for his updates.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Roner. Nice to see everyone tonight. We do have two wonderful 11th grade sponsors in Ms. Young and Ms. Stokes. They have been with the class all the years that they've been at Wooten. They are continuing on and doing a wonderful job with our class officers as well. I wanted to highlight a couple of small things. It's not a big deal, but I did want to mention it right now that the junior class did happen to be the loudest cheering class at the pep rally. We always kind of turn it into a little bit of a competition. So there's a lot of school spirit with our class. We do have also the PSAT coming up on October 13th. And many of our juniors are taking that. It is free for juniors this year. And we also are looking forward to repeating our win at the pep rally for most spirited class during Homecoming Spirit Week. We've also just recently close a t-shirt and sweatpants ordering process. They should be arriving soon. They're very, very slick and very, very comfy looking as well. And lastly, I did just want to say, the junior year is a big year, right? Many of our students are kind of turning their attention to what life might be like after high school. Many of our students obviously going to college, some others a gap year or entering the workforce. And so it is a big year, and it is important to stay engaged and to stay in communication with counselors, administrators, teachers, etc. But that being said, last year, the word of the year was grace. And I think that continues on a little bit this year too. So I hope that in the midst of a lot of intense academic work this year, our students and your children are able to find that all important school life balance and able to relax a bit, do some things for themselves, get outside, be with family, friends, themselves, get enough sleep, all of that. So I am, again, just tickled to be here at Wooten this year in the administrative role and seeing everybody in the hallways. It's wonderful. So I thank you for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Mamana.
Thank you, Mr. Hitchens. And you are correct, but I want to make sure everybody knows there is a little bit of competition here, but the junior class tied with the senior class. So you didn't take it away all the way. So our seniors tied for the loudest. So if parents, you don't know, we have a lot of competition, and that spirit really comes out during our homecoming week. And what I wanted to just also share is that we as administrators communicate a lot, especially from last year. And it's been something that's come out that's been really good in communicating with students through their Canvas page, through that lunch toggle. So in other words, all of your students, and a lot of you get the messages because you're on, you receive some of that correspondence as well. But every student, we try to get that information out. They have a lunch toggle, and it's each of our administrators who send that information out to them. So I've been using it pretty regularly. We also do obviously the what we call Connect Eds, which are the phone calls. Some of you call them robocalls. Some of us like to be a little more personable on it. But those are the major ways in which we're communicating with students. So if there's something going on, that's how they will know, or you will know, is through that correspondence. Miss Victoria Berry is our PE, physical education and health teacher. And Miss Hosking is one of our math teachers, and both of them are the sponsors for the 12th graders. They actually have a class period. Someone had, I think, mentioned it in the chat before, the senior planning, where they work an actual period on a lot of the events and activities that will be going on throughout the year for seniors. And they also work with other groups like the SGA. October 1st and 2nd is Planning for the Future weekend. It's where students, and I know Ms. Margaret's had talked a little bit about the counselors that have gone into the classes for our seniors, and they're talking about the whole college application process, and that they should start thinking about that college essay that they're writing for their applications. Well, we actually provide during this time teachers and administrators and staff that will read students' essays, give them a little critique, give them some pros and cons, and so they can go back and rewrite, or a lot of them are really done well because they've got a lot to, I guess, tell the college recruiters. And it's just a great time for students to get that feedback and to run things by somebody. We also will have panel discussions with our college reps. We have several college reps that will be there to tell a little bit about how things have changed, specifically with COVID. Also, there's a financial aid workshop that will be available as well. I think that will be on the Saturday. All of this is listed on our website, as well as you can contact Ms. Carr, our college and career coordinator, who can give you that information of the specific things that are happening on Friday and Saturday. On October 13th, as Mr. Hitchens had said, the PSAT is for the 11th graders. This is something that's new. This year, due to the fact that a lot of our seniors didn't have the opportunity to take the SAT last year, they're offering the SAT for free for seniors. We have already opened up the registration, and we've already ordered some exams. I do have a couple extra spaces, so if a couple seniors didn't get in and still would like to take that SAT, they can contact me directly. It will be a delayed opening for the whole school, but the 10th and 11th graders will be taking the PSAT, the seniors will be taking the SAT, and then afterwards, we're looking at, for at least for the seniors, having like a senior brunch, and we always do our senior picture, and we're looking to have something, a wellness day for the second half, and there's more planning is in the midst of us, and we'll get that out to students and to parents as soon as possible. Senior pictures. A lot of our seniors have already taken their senior pictures. The last 2 days were set up for September 22nd, 23rd is this week. But if you guys remember that we had this big storm that came through, and all afternoon or evening events were canceled. And that was one of the days in which we had a senior picture day. So we have to reschedule that. And there will be a rescheduling day in October. We don't have the exact date yet with our vendor, Victor O'Neill Studios, but after the 2 days this week, we will have a makeup day in October. And lastly, I sent out a reminder. I sent that out through Connect Ed, actually this evening, for parents to fill out a graduation survey. We mentioned this a little bit earlier in a parent meeting that we had for seniors, but this is just a graduation survey that we want senior parents and the students to fill out. Last year, due to COVID, obviously we didn't have our graduation at DAR Constitution Hall. We had it here, and some of the parents and students said that they'd like to have the option of having it here again. So we're just getting feedback on whether or not option one would be to have it here on our field again, or at DAR Constitution Hall. So that's the information that was sent out through the survey. That information can also be accessed through your students' lunch toggle that I talked about earlier on Canvas. And that's all that I have for the senior class.
Thank you, Mr. Mamana. Appreciate that. Thank you. Those were the updates. I feel like we need to clarify. I know that both Mr. Hitchens and Mr. Mamana are both declaring that they were victors in the pep rally. And there is an ongoing dispute here of who was the loudest. some of the judges were sitting on the senior junior side and not the 9th grade and 10th grade side. So we're still waiting for the results of those, and we will hopefully be able to give you those at the next PTSA meeting of who was the loudest grade level. And we might have to put a survey out there to see what the results are. But we'll keep you updated on that. The last thing, one of the last things we want to do is just give you overall updates of the school. And so a couple of things that are happening in the next month or so. Just a reminder about AP exam registration. November 15th is the deadline, so we want to make sure that we're avoiding those late fees. College Fair, September 29th, 5 to 7. And I think the PTSA did a great job of talking about that in the beginning. Interims are coming up October 8th. If you could believe it, we're nearing the, if you can believe it, halfway point of the marking period very shortly. And then the best event, as far as one of the best events in high school, is the homecoming week. There's a lot of events going on. We're meeting with the SGA class. We're finalizing what those Spirit Week, which day they'll wear certain things, their pajama days. We're reviewing the homecoming process, the floats, and of course the dance. So looking forward to this as we kind of go through and experience those traditional high school events that we didn't get to have last year, and we're able to put them on for this year. So with that, we want to thank everyone. That concludes our presentation. We saw a lot of questions in the chat, so that was great. And then we're kind of following it. We're all here to answer those. We can stop the presentation, and if anyone else has any questions they want to put in the chat or have any questions clarified, or we can do that at this point.
Mr. Runner, I just wanted to follow up on one thing Mr. Mamana started regarding the communication. PTSA has a wonderful Patriot News that they put out. Thank you all for that. That's amazing. And on the school side, we do a weekly message on Sundays that goes out to all of our families regarding all of the upcoming events and activities. And once a month, we'll do a fuller edition where you'll also hear from counseling and all of the resource teachers and everything. And when we have something specific happening, you will hear from each of the administrators, Mr. Roner, Mr. Mamana, Mr. Hitchens, Ms. Walker, and they will give specific targeted communications, either based on grade level or areas of responsibility. For example, Mr. Hitchens and Ms. Walker are in charge of testing for our building. So you will have information from them regarding testing, while Mr. Mamana is in charge of AP testing. So we split our responsibilities. And so from time to time, you'll have targeted communication that will come out either in a voice message to you or through email. So we really hope that you will use that, take a look at that weekly update as it comes out. And also our website. Our website is chock full of information. Our webmaster is a magician. She keeps everything updated. And so that information is also there as well. All of our staff members are located there. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check out our website, please do. We keep that up to date as well. We know we're a big organization. We're a diverse organization in terms of all of our offerings. And so if there is anything that we can do to improve the communication so that you're connected, please make sure that you check out the website, you check out our Connect messages. And of course, if there's still any questions you have, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're here to make sure that you have all the information you need as well over the course of the school year. I think we answered all of the questions in the chat. Yes, we're coming up on homecoming, and we will have a dance. It will be outdoors, and we're working on that plan, and that will be communicated out as well very soon. I think really we'll open it up for any other questions you might have. We covered an array of topics. And so if there's any lingering questions, we hope to answer them before we conclude this evening. All right, Mr. Rabin, if that's it thank you for having us this evening, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Rabin, to close us out.
Thank you. And thank you for all that great information. And by the way, next month we can put a poll up there and see which grade is the loudest. I mean, that's the fairest way to do it. So thank you all for joining tonight. We really appreciate it. We'll see you hopefully at the college fair coming up on Wednesday. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.